Uh, how we feeling? I'm gonna go and tell you, I've been waiting for this shit all day. I'm mad hype. We got a lot of good content. I know y'all are excited. We're gonna get through our topic. I'm mad hype, and then we're opening this shit up and letting everybody come in here and say what they want to say. We got y'all. It's gonna be a good one. Everybody tweet it out. Let's get as many people in here as we can. Trying to get some big names in here. A lot of hype. I know we can do it. Give a round of hundreds, everybody. Love seeing everybody. How we feeling? How we feeling? Let's get the hosts, or let's get the panel up here, and we're gonna get this show rolling. I know everybody's feeling good. I know everybody's been looking forward to this. We got y'all. Look at us. Look at everybody joining in. I know everybody's looking forward to this. I know everybody's feeling good. Can't wait to get this show. Look at everybody joining in. I know everybody's looking forward to this. Got the panel here. But yeah, we're gonna try and run through the first, maybe hour or so. We have some set topics we're gonna try and get through, and then we're gonna try and open this thing up as long as possible for anybody that wants to throw in some words, say whatever they want to say, ask whatever they want to ask. So try and be patient with us. We got a lot of good content for y'all we want to get through. So we just want to leave as much time at the end for everybody to get their word in.
And if you could, I know it's still a bit early, but the that little blue feather at the bottom right, if everybody could go ahead and hit that so we can share this space and get a bunch of people in here.
And do me a favor, whoever you want to hear from, tag them in it. If there's somebody you want to hear from, tag them in it. Let them know you're in here and you want to hear them. Let's get some people in here. Whoever y'all want to hear from, tag them. Let's fill everybody's speed. Let's get 100+ people in here and get everybody wanting to come here. This is the place to be.
All right, looks like we are almost set here. See, we've got a couple requested to speak. Don't worry, we see you. Just hold on a bit while we get set up and get through our introductions and whatnot.
Oak, I got your DM. Perfect, friend. Hear from you in a little while. But yeah, if everybody that's requesting, if y'all can be patient with us, hold off, let us kind of get through the most of our information. We fully expect a lot of people wanting to speak, and we love that. We're going to try and get through our stuff and then let y'all comment and, say what y'all want to say. All right. Well, I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. Let's get to it. I'm Pepe Stallone, Hero 10, your co-host for the evening. Happy to be here. Been looking forward to this all week, especially today. It's been hype. And that's kind of about it from me. We'll pass it over to Floki.
What's up, everybody? Y'all know me. I'm just the crypto Viking that speaks from the heart. Founded Heroes with Aragorn and Maximus. And so excited to be here with you guys tonight. I don't want to steal Stone Cold's line. I'll let him say it. Go ahead, Stone Cold.
Hell yeah, baby. What a day. Stone Cold, your numbers guy, cover everything Voyager, digital, and VGX related. And tonight is a special occasion, so I broke open my last bottle of Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch bottled and bottled. Good stuff.
Hey, what a night to celebrate. Tonight's the night to crack it open. Michael, you can go ahead, my friend.
Hey, everybody. Nice slow news day. I figured we'd just come hang out for a little bit. But we're excited to be here tonight. This should be fun. We've got plenty of positive stories to cover, and that was before we thought we had a lot to cover before VGX, doubled almost. So this should be a good night. Let's see what price we end up at by the time we're done with this whole thing.
Absolutely. I'm watching the chart as we go. I'm watching the Knicks. Everything's good. But Frankie, go ahead, my guy. And you can just kind of roll into kind of your news and your news for the week if you want, my friend.
Frankie here. Thanks, Pepe. Current events guy, like Michael said, really not much to talk about today. But with that being said, I'll just jump right in. The big headline of the day is VGX and Coinbase, baby. So today the VGX got listed on Coinbase Pro. Doesn't necessarily mean it goes through the full Coinbase, but let me tell you, 73 million pairs of eyeballs are going to be looking at this thing. So, as we saw, price action, almost doubled today. So we'll see what the future brings, but this is very, very good news. I think one of the biggest, outside of getting the eyeballs on it here, I think also offers a lot of liquidity here. Yeah, I mean, I can't contain my my excitement for the future. So that was the big news. Got a couple other headlines, but Michael, I don't know if you want to talk about stay on subject here for a little bit and talk about liquidity.
Yeah, so the couple of questions came up already in light of the Coinbase news, and some folks were asking, why is it such a benefit to have, the deep liquidity when an asset gets listed over there, and basically you avoid the illiquid kind of erratic price action that you see when certain exchanges, start to dry up. So I think everybody's seen that at periods of time. Well, you'll get a flash crash, or you'll get a crazy wick in either direction, and typically a more liquid market would mitigate that from ever being able to take place in the first place. So deeper liquidity is a good thing for any asset.
Yeah, and absolutely. And don't forget, Coinbase, they got their bit license, so they're in New York, and that gives people that's starting to get some New York exposure. But yeah, Michael, you want to kind of get into some, maybe some sports news that's come up this week?
Yeah, there were a couple big news pieces in the space. So I think everybody saw probably today that Crypto.com went ahead and took the naming rights for the LA Staples Center where the Lakers and the Kings play, and the Clippers do for now. So that was pretty huge news. I think it was the
single naming rights. It was the largest single naming rights stadium deal to date. And then in typical fashion, kind of like what happened when Voyager broke the Gronk news, and then 2 seconds later, all of a sudden Brady for FTX was out with a longer commercial and a more lucrative deal and a bigger name. 2 seconds after the Crypto.com Staples Center news today, FTX went and dropped it on their heads that they signed Ohtani from Major League Baseball, who's basically the greatest all-around baseball player since Babe Ruth. So I think Voyager should be pretty happy that they didn't do that when they broke the Mavs deal. They left us alone for that one, so we can at least celebrate for a little bit. But tons of huge endorsement news in the space today.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, I was about to say Ohtani, global superstar. It's not Voyager, but Moneybags, FTX, throwing that money around, all that does is exposure, man. Exposure. We're trying to get to mass adoption. That's huge for the crypto space. If anybody else has some news story, yeah, go ahead, Floki.
Hey, Michael, just a heads up. Just do a mic check. You sounded kind of funny there when you were speaking.
Yeah, I started to get a phone call in the middle of talking.
Okay,
yeah,
well, now we know.
Yeah, if you want to run through it, just a quick one more time, because it was kind of muffled sounding.
I had no idea what you said.
On the sports side or on the liquidity side?
Yeah, sports.
All right. Sorry about that. So we had the Crypto.com went ahead and announced that they took the naming rights to the Staples Center Arena in play. To date, and with within I think minutes of them announcing that, I think FTX came out and kind of stole their thunder and announced that they signed Ohtani, the baseball player. And Ohtani, for anybody that doesn't know, is basically the most all-around versatile, best baseball player, pitching and hitting since Babe Ruth. Kind of the first of his kind since the 20s. So pretty big deal there too. Kind of reminded me of when Voyager dropped the news about the Gronk deal, and then a few minutes later, all of a sudden there was a longer, more lucrative commercial for FTX with Brady on it. Luckily, this time Voyager didn't fall subject to their one-upsmanship, and they luckily left the Mavs announcement alone without dropping bigger, better news on that. So Voyager at least got to celebrate their Mavs announcement in peace, but Crypto.com didn't suffer the same fate today, because within a few minutes of them dropping what should have been kind of exclusive, industry-changing news today, or at least top billing today, they got kind of one-upped by FTX.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome pumping Voyager in the Crypto.com arena here in Los Angeles at Laker games and Clipper games. Well, Clipper games for not too much longer, but it's going to be dope. Go ahead, Pepe. Had to say it.
Yeah, and some more exciting news that happened. We got another earnings report. I know it's a lot of information, a lot of numbers. It's kind of hard to decipher a lot of it, but luckily we have an expert on that subject. So Stone Cold, give us everything you want to give us on it.
Yeah, so we basically had back-to-back earnings reports. I'll break those down between Voyager Digital and also kind of touch on some VGX-specific numbers that were released in that. So a couple of highlights that stood out to me. Oh, and also big shout out to Crypto Airborne. He live streamed the entire thing and has timestamps. So if you have any questions about a specific subject and you don't want to listen to the entire one, I think it's a longer call, about 45 minutes. Go check out his video and listen, jump right into what you want to hear. So back to the earnings call, one big thing that stood out was the revenue diversification. So in the last call, from April to June, the revenue was majority transactions. I think it was high 80s, low 90s. And this time the transaction revenue was only 53% of total revenue. So Voyager really is diversifying their funds or their revenue streams. And you heard Steve mention that a couple times, because when the crypto winter hits, there's now other streams of revenue that are coming in. So you're not going to see the stock going to free fall when you have what we had over the summer. So that was pretty cool to see. It wasn't last quarter, but he told the audience that the assets under management is now at $7 billion. And there was one analyst on the call that had to make Steve repeat himself because he could not believe that number. So that was pretty funny to hear. There was a 28.3 million operating loss, but Steve did mention that this has already been reversed in this quarter. So that's a good sign to see. They really focused on onboarding new accounts, new funded accounts. So that's where that extra operating loss is from. And funded accounts at the end of the quarter were 860,000. He also mentioned that October was a record month for revenue. So that's great to see, and something we're really looking forward to the end of the year to see how that plays out with November and December. So far, it looks like it's going to be a record quarter going forward. Another big thing that Steve mentioned was staking. So he said if the coin has the ability to be staked, you will be getting yield on it within the next 12 months. So I don't know how many off the top of my head are currently available, but 20 where you can earn some sort of yield or rewards from it. So we're definitely going to be seeing that number go way up over the next 12 months. Another big one was Coinify. So that kind of stood out. They had a revenue of 15.9 million. So that really helped out with the revenue diversification. So it was good to see Coinify come in with that kind of number. And I believe that was only for 2 months. They weren't for the full quarter. So we can expect that number to hopefully go up with the next quarter. And then kind of looking at the more VGX specific numbers that were released. So total, there was 148.3 VGX held by customers. So this was an increase of about 15 million over the last quarter, and which was a bigger jump. I think it was only about 10 million from the previous quarter. So that number did go back up, which is good to see. Voyager did spend 1.1 million from the growth pool, so there's about 38.9 million remaining. And then total VGX, so we include the growth pool, what's held by Voyager customers, and then what is held by Voyager themselves. And that's at 188.6 million VGX tokens, which at the time was about 67.5% of the total supply. So, I mean, I keep saying it over and over. Every single quarter, the numbers keep going up and up and up in the same direction. It's not going down at all. So exciting to see, and can't wait to see what happens at the end of December. But I think they said February 15th was the next earnings call. So I don't think there's gonna be any shortage of news to keep us busy until then.
Absolutely, thank you. And I saw two interesting posts today on two different exchanges, their wallets. If you can kind of get into that.
Yeah, so the first one I saw was on Etherscan. The Coinbase 6 wallet is now viewable, and right when the news broke, I went to go take a look, saw it. I think it had like 30,000 VGX token in it. And right before the call, it's now up to 148,000. So that was kind of what Michael was talking about earlier with why it's important to have liquidity, so you're not going to have those wild swings. If there's a run, like back when VGX was down for the token swap, and you had a few exchanges that weren't part of it, and you have Pat Ackerman go in there and send the price up $2 just throwing a couple of VGX around. So and then also I was trying to explain that to someone. I went to go look at the FTX wallet to see how much they held, because in the beginning it was pretty low, and I was really shocked to see that it was over 1 million. So on October 28th, there was 700,000 VGX that went into the FTX wallet. And I'm sure you all remember, but 10/28 was the date the Mavericks and Voyager deal was announced. So without even going, because we really haven't got the numbers of how much we benefited from that, but just from seeing that number alone tells you how big that event was. Just, I mean, for the token, not even for the company. So that was cool to see. And then another thing that stood out was we did have a couple of tokens unstaked. Within the hour of the announcement from Coinbase, we had about 100,000 tokens that were unstaked, and you can kind of assume that these were sold because you did see the price dip a little bit. Check the price right now; it's down right back up. So I think that was something to make note of, but that got eaten up pretty quickly. And then the last number I had after that first hour was about 222,000 that were unstaked. So it did go up a little bit immediately after the news, but after that, something to keep an eye on. But I mean, the price has been going up, so all those tokens that were sold just got bought up by new buyers. So that was good to see.
Yeah, I'm loving the price. I mean, it's still hanging at 418 currently for such a pop, even with that many coins unstaked to still sustain it and still trying to push up. It's impressive, but it just shows you how not necessarily little. I mean, that's a huge announcement, but in a 15-minute span, it jumped up $1.25, like 45-50%. I mean, there's a lot to come. So it definitely, everybody's feeling bullish. You saw it across Twitter. But yeah, I mean, also tagging on to that, everybody make sure you, if you haven't update, sign up for the debit card. Then some more exciting news. We need to get, as many people registered on there for the pre-registry, boost the numbers up, spread awareness. I love seeing everybody sign up for that. But anybody have anything else to touch on that? Works for me. All right, we'll move on. So yeah, if we want to move on to Frankie, if you want to kind of get into Taproot, so not to overshadow BGX, but Bitcoin had the Taproot. We all got the the email about transfers being paused. So, but I know a lot of people don't really understand it. So if you kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, sure, Pepe. So this past week, there was a Bitcoin improvement protocol. It's actually three of them. Taproot encompasses three Bitcoin improvement protocols. So basically, let's take a step back. Bitcoin transactions made up of three parts: an input, an output, and a signature, a digital signature. So prior to Taproot, if you were say doing a single signature or maybe a 2 of 3, you had like a custodian that was signing on your behalf. You could do some analytics on that, and actually chain analytics, and find out a little bit more about the transaction, which gets into kind of Michael's sweet spot of OPSEC and privacy. So one of the big things that Taproot does is improves privacy by obfuscating the different types of signatures, so they all look identical now. That was one of the things that for a long time that needed to many people on the privacy side of Bitcoin said needed to get better at. So it finally came. The second thing is it saves on the way the signatures are built now in the algorithm. It saves on sort of the memory and kind of the weight of the transaction, which basically makes it somewhat future proof, meaning that once say all the coins are mined in however many years from now, you start miners are going to start transacting on a fees basis. So with that, you're essentially decreasing fees for individuals transacting, but there'll be more transactions to keep miners happy, for a lack of a better phrase. So with that, you're essentially lowering fees, which was kind of one of the things that was always frowned upon with Bitcoin, right? Now that the fees are lower, and ETH is transaction fee could be in the hundreds of dollars to send a JPEG across. So it kind of won that little battle there. Those it was a big thing. So I don't know if anyone has any questions on it. I happy to get deeper into the weeds if time permits and you guys want me to.
Michael, I know you're the Bitcoin expert as well. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, not really. I mean, it's fairly deep into the pool. I think to the extent that a Voyager customer is even fluent in kind of chain transactions and Taproot and signatures and Schnorr signatures, those folks are likely not custodying assets in a centralized way. But if anybody's got further questions or wants to go deep into the pool, by all means, DM me. I'd be happy to have that conversation. But I think the Cliff Notes are basically the anonymization of the signatures by not being able to tell the difference between single sig, multi-sig, or Lightning channel opens and closes, and the efficiency overall by making them lighter transactions. You fit more transactions in a block, and the transaction fees are smaller because you're paying sats per byte. So it's basically just an improvement in privacy and efficiency of the transactions.
Yeah, Duck, you have something on that? I saw you waving your hand.
I didn't want to change the subject and jump in, but since you called me, just this last topic, we were talking about liquidity, and TradingView just scam wicked on VGX down to 333 for a second, popped back to 418 already. But sorry to interrupt this topic. We can go back to it. That was interesting. We just talked about it.
I think that's a perfect example. And, for anybody that was around for the swap and watched what the charts were doing for those periods, for that period of time when trading was halted, you saw that they were having to pull Oracle data from illiquid exchanges where you saw this insane price action. And everybody should have known, none of it's real, because you couldn't actually transact at those prices scale. It's just a completely liquid market. So you'll see that. You'll see some coins that just have zero liquidity to them that can make crazy moves on, $2,000 or $3,000 a day in volume, but there's no substance there. It's all just flash in the pan. So having the deep liquidity for price stability, I think, will be a good thing. And we're also making some progress too, as far as making sure that the oracles are pointed at the right contract and have the right, I know there's been some work in the community to make sure that CoinGecko is indicative of the right market cap by calculating it the right way and understanding the correct circulating supply. So there's just bit by bit things are falling into place for the legitimization and the deep liquidity that's necessary for things to really kind of take off.
Yeah, and kind of going back to Bitcoin, I mean, we saw that, a little bit of a flash crash below 60,000 as low as I think 58.5, and for it to bounce right back up to 60,000, for me, that was a huge, that's very noteworthy. 60 is a kind of a very psychological level, and to break below it like we did and just to pop right back up was huge for me on the Bitcoin side.
Yeah, things are looking good. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. There's still some people that are calling for a putting in a higher low at 53. So I think if anybody sees that, I wouldn't necessarily go full Chicken Little quite yet, because there's some highly respected chartists out there and technicians that are thinking that we might actually build a stronger base if we put in that higher low at 53. So I'm not losing any sleep over it, but it is nice to see it holding up so well up at these levels.
Yeah, I've kind of been, that's kind of the word around the Bitcoin bird app. So it's one of those things. It's almost people can speak it into existence, even if it wasn't going to happen before. So I wouldn't be surprised myself. But going back to VGX and like these exchanges like FTX, Coinbase Pro, if you kind of talk about how to stake outside of the Voyager app, Michael.
Yeah, sure. So there are a fair amount of international holders of VGX or folks in New York that can't use the app. So if you're in that situation and you need to stake the app, they've made it quite simple now. So assuming you already own the asset, you likely have it in either MetaMask or a Trust wallet. Maybe to go one step further, if you don't own the asset yet, then you'd be able to use a protocol like Uniswap or any other DEX where they have liquidity on it and acquire it that way. And then once you've got it in your MetaMask wallet or Trust wallet, you would just go to Voyager's main website is probably the simplest way of doing it. And on their website, they have a couple drop-down menus at the top, and one of them is for the token. So you would just go ahead and hit the drop-down for the token, and then hit on the staking portal. And then once you've got that staking portal open, provided that you're in the browser that's connected to that wallet, you'll be able to connect your wallet to it, which in this case, it looks like MetaMask. MetaMask is the one that I'm the most familiar with. I do know that some folks out there use Trust Wallet. I'm not 100% the Trust Wallet will play nicely with the portal. So for the purpose of just consistency, I would say a MetaMask wallet connected to that portal will then allow you to manipulate the coins as you see fit. So you can stake from there, you can unstake from there, and then they have it advertised. You can always check your balance from there too, and have a bit more of a UI UX than just checking it in the wallet itself. But it's fairly straightforward. If anybody's got any questions, shoot them to any one of us. You should never have to do anything crazy in order to stake your coins. You shouldn't have to share your seed phrase. God forbid, please, if you do have questions, don't type the word MetaMask in a comment on Twitter, because the bots are insane. Within seconds, you'll get botted to death with everybody claiming to be MetaMask tech support. None of them really are. It's all just a ruse to try to fish your seed phrase. So don't get duped. Don't get wrecked. Don't lose your shit just because you don't know what's going on and you get taken advantage of. So just be careful out there. But it's a fairly simple and straightforward process. People have tutorialized it to death. Other folks within the community would be the best people to help you, more so than just blindly seeking out MetaMask help on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's still, as much excitement that's happened today, this week. I mean, we're still on the surface. Debit cards are coming. You're going to be able to earn 9% on your damn debit card. Like, just absurd numbers with getting a cashback percentage. We got equities coming. We got AVAX NFTs coming. We got international expansion. Europe is happening. We're already everything's there for France. Like, Europe is coming. Canada is coming. New York is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's when. I mean,
9% on your debit card? I think you mean up to 10.5%, sir. I don't know if you're afraid of the SEC or what, but let's speak to the benefits of the VLP here.
That was a setup question. I was going to see who would call me out on it. I do it every time, and I love getting called out on it every single time. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see if the three-letter agencies listen to our spaces.
not financial advice, not fucking around, not VGX employees or Voyager employees.
And another thing I picked up from the earnings call is a live customer service support line. That is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows there's been issues with that we've had early on with growth pains, but looking at Coinbase, the way I think of it is Coinbase struggles because they try to implement everything now, and when you're so large implementing things, it's so difficult. So even though, I mean, we're at 1 million, but we're still so small on the scale. I mean, coming from 25,000 accounts a year ago, the growth's been absurd, and to have the crazy communication. But like when you try to add in things when you're at like a Coinbase, 70 million people, it's so difficult. But all these little things that are getting implemented so early on is just going to be huge to make it easier to scale and build upon for when we are 5 million, 10 million people. I mean, we're still early in the crypto space as a whole, so it's just so much excitement to come. But today was an exciting day. It was good to see a little glimpse of it. Can I get a round of 100s from everybody? Who's excited? Who had a good day? Who likes seeing VGX go up? There we go. I'm seeing some. Not very many people excited. I thought more people would be excited. I'm only seeing. There we go.
Give me some hundies, guys. Give me some hundies. Let's go.
Now people are excited about money go up. Crypto internet, fake money go up, imaginary money. But we're kind of running through our topics fast, so I think we'll start opening it up. So people that have kind of questions on things we've ran through, feel free to start requesting. We'll start getting people up here. Got Cronus. He's been waiting for a minute, so start off with him. But yeah, definitely start requesting. We got a few more topics, but we want to start getting some input from the community. What's going on, Cronus?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, we have a new listener today. He happened to be the coach of my kids in high school. His name is Coach Farr. He's listening right now. Can one of you please give him, I gave him the recap of what Voyager is, what the token is. Can one of you gentlemen please also give him a recap just in case I fuck something up?
Sure.
Elevator pitch, guys. Who's got it?
How about you, Floki?
Yeah, go for it, Floki.
No, I'm handing it off. No, I'm good. I talked a lot today.
Michael, you can start it off, and I'll tag on with you.
All right. So first of all, just overall, the company is publicly traded. You know, they've got a deep bench of folks that were from E-Trade that are seasoned veterans in the space. They're trustworthy. They know their shit. They're well connected. They understand the regulatory side of the world because they built up E-Trade at a time when, you know, online brokerages really didn't exist even in the equities markets. So their talent is deep. They've got folks from Uber on the CTO side of the world. They've got a very solid foundation as far as the core pieces there. Now, they handle their operations as a brokerage differently than your typical exchange in the crypto space, because typically it's an exchange where you're directly trading liquidity from one side of the trade to the other. In their case, they're dealing with a number of exchanges, and they have what's called smart router technology, where they go out and seek out the best price for the asset that you're trying to trade, and they execute across a number of different exchanges. That is supposed to ultimately provide you with a better price. They ultimately make money on the spread. They don't charge a fee. You know, a lot of brokerages out there will charge a nominal fee between 1% to 3%, something along those lines. That's how they make their money, is on the spread. They then also lend out your assets to earn yield, or stake your assets to earn yield. That yield is then translated to rewards to the customer. So they, I believe, have somewhere in the mid-30s as far as assets that provide yield to the customer in the form of a reward, I think they're calling it now. So that is one thing. And then the VGX token gets involved by being a utility token for their loyalty program. So the loyalty program, as it currently sits, has 3 tiers to it. You can either own 500 VGX, 5,000 VGX, or 20,000 VGX to be in either the first, second, or third tier. What the first tier will get you is an extra 0.5% interest boost on top of whatever the published rates are on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC. So if you are somewhat risk averse and new to crypto, and you're really just looking at this as a way to substitute your savings account at your bank. So you move in cash and park it in USDC, so you don't have to incur the volatility or the risk of the crypto assets. That's fine, and you would get the base rate of 9% interest. And if you held 500 VGX tokens on top of that, you would get 9.5% interest. If you were in the next tier, you would get a 1% interest boost. So if you held 5,000 tokens, you'd get 10% interest on that, plus an extra 1% if you did hold Bitcoin or ETH. And then if you were in the top tier, the Navigator tier with 20,000 tokens or more, then you'd get 1.5% on top of the 9% base rate for USDC. So that's a little bit of how the interest boost works. In addition to that, each one of those tiers also has some additional benefits when you trade. So if you are trading in and out of assets that aren't stable coins, assets that have a spread, like I said before, that smart router technology is going to go out and seek the best price across the exchanges, and then they also improve that price. They have a feature called price improvement. So you're going to get a little bit better price than whatever the market price looked like it was going to be when you place the trade. And it's worth noting that this is only relevant to market orders, not limit orders. With the VLP, if you're in that first tier with 500 VDX tokens, you will get a 1x price improvement boost or cashback boost. So you will get 1 time your total price improvement back in VGX, paid twice a month. So towards the middle of the month and then again at the end of the month. If you are in the middle tier, you'll get 2 times whatever that price improvement was cumulatively. And if you're in the top tier, then you'll get 3 times whatever that price improvement was cumulatively. And I think that was the biggest silver bullet for this VLP that many people underestimated, because most folks didn't understand really what the benefits were. It seemed like it might be negligible. And then all of a sudden that first set of rewards payments hit and people were getting, hundreds of VGX, if not thousands, for actively trading. And all of a sudden, I think it clicked for the community and for speculators too, as far as the merits of the token and the merits of the VLP, and just how much it can incentivize people to trade actively. And if they're trading actively, it benefits them because they're getting that VLP reward based on their trading. And it obviously benefits the company because the rewards that they pay for staking or lending your assets is most likely a loss leader at this point. That's not really the bread and butter. It's not how they're trying to make money, but they do make money on the spread. So by incentivizing you to trade actively, you're trading back and forth between currencies and between tokens. That ultimately increases the bottom line for the company. So there are going to be some additional things that come down the pike. There are features that didn't quite make it to the rollout on day one, like withdrawal benefits and things along those lines. But those are probably the 2 most noteworthy features of the VLP for people that are just getting their feet wet within the company. And Pep, feel free to fill in any of the gaps that I may have left.
Yeah, hate to pass the mic right back to you, but you do a really good job of explaining it. When it comes to loyalty programs for airlines and how it's very comparable and how that market cap and I love the example of coronavirus and how the loyalty programs for the airlines are the only reason they were, had faith to get bailed out. So if you kind of explain it on that side as well.
Sure. So let's say you do start to get into the speculative aspect of cryptocurrency investing, and in particular, in this case, holding VGX, the token. It's been modeled as being kind of akin to airlines rewards, and whereas at first glance you might think, well, that's silly. Who cares about those miles? They give them to me for free for signing up for a credit card, or the thing that most people don't realize about frequent flyer programs is that they are really the primary source of equity for those airlines. So in the midst of the worst parts of the pandemic, when everything was shut down and aircraft were parked all over the world, and those companies really, on their merits, should have been upside down and no longer existed, the only leverageable assets that they had to their names were their loyalty programs. And you had companies like Delta and American and really across the board, they all leveraged those loyalty programs to borrow against, and that's what kept them afloat, and that's what helped them survive. So if you took a look at the value that those have been estimated to hold, it's somewhere in the ballpark typically of like 19 to 22 billion per airline. So if you were to apply that same type of valuation to the loyalty program for, say, Voyager, and you were to divide that out by the actual circulating supply of the VGX token, it would yield a VGX token that was worth about $67 per token. Now, nobody is calling for that. I'm not, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying that we're going to go to $67 overnight, but if you're trying to understand the scale of the potential of this token and this program, that's a good way to try to put it in perspective. So the misunderstanding that frequent flyer miles is somewhat of a joke, that it makes it seem valueless. It's actually couldn't be further from the truth. If you actually understood the value of the equity in an airline, the majority of its equity outside of fixed assets is the loyalty program itself. So this is it's a massive behemoth, or at least has the potential to grow into that. So as a speculative play, it's quite strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. You explained that so much better than I could. But kind of staying on that same topic on loyalty programs, most people, no, I wouldn't say most, but a good bit of people have an airline's credit card, and that's the airline they always are going to try and go to because I get all these free miles. So it builds a loyalty, and the app is already sticky. Pretty much, it's a lot of people get the app thinking, okay, maybe there's one asset or I want to check it out, and they're stuck to it because just the layout and everything about it, the constant rotating price, it's just a sticky app. So just combinating everything together, I think that's just a great example. But while we're on the topic, I want to hear from everybody on the subject. So Stone Cold, give me something about the loyalty program that sticks out to you, or something that you know of that hasn't been mentioned.
I mean, you can't really top what Michael just went through. That was probably the greatest presentation I've ever heard. He needs to get paid for that, what he just said. So,
well, it's going to be tough for you to follow up. You got to try.
Yeah, I'm going to go big. So someone might look at the VLP. We have a lot of calculators. If you put in your numbers, you might say, well, I'm not really sure if I'm getting my money back on, hitting that first tier at 500 VGX to get an extra 0.5% on my USDC or whatever Bitcoin, whatever you hold. And that's completely fair. Every person's situation is completely unique. My argument to that would be you need to look long term. The VLP, there's things that are coming that no one here is even thinking about. So Patrick Ackerman put it best. He said, you're almost you're buying a part of the company in the future. So we're getting stocks, we're getting desktop, we're getting IRAs. Who here wants to get rewards on their IRA moving over Voyager? I mean, the possibilities are really endless. So it's someone that looks at the VLP now and says, I'd rather go buy DOT for 12% or whatever. I would challenge you to kind of expand your thinking and look at what the possibilities are, because I mean, I try and sit here looking at what's coming down the pipe and look at how many times we've been surprised this month with stuff that's come up. We have no idea what's coming. And I mean, a bet in VGX is a bet in Voyager, and I think it's going to be hard to go wrong with making that bet. Not financial advice.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to come to you next, Floki. So I'm going to give you a minute or so to think. But for me, something that hasn't been mentioned is the Coinify deal and allowing payment with VGX. And with that, there's going to come, it's not fully explained yet, but there's going to be, price discounts or some kind of cash back with using VGX to pay. And I believe it's 30,000 vendors they already have, or 60,000. I'm sorry, my numbers. But so that's just another exciting thing. I mean, Steve's talked many times that he's building as much utility and as much use case for this token to reward holders and also make it beneficial in, spending use cases. So, yeah, Frankie, then I'll get to you.
I think I'm just going to pop in real quick. One thing that we did leave out that ties into that Coinify is the debit card. So the one other tiered benefit of the VLP is the debit card on the spend side. So on the basic concept behind the debit card is that you're benefiting from earning the interest in USDC for the entire time that it sits on your balance. And then when you go to spend, the spend reward is more nominal compared to maybe other things out there, but you're benefiting from your balance instead of from your spend. So it's a little bit different in terms of how it needs to be marketed. But you would be earning your USDC yield in accordance with your VLP tier, and then your spend reward would either be 0.1% at tier 1, 0.2% at tier 2, 0.3% at tier 3. So just to interject the last of the VLP features that I think are the most noteworthy, being that they did roll out the debit card waitlist this week, it is more of a soon feature than a later feature.
All right, Floki, you get a little bit more time. Go ahead, Frankie. And then We'll go Floki, then you, Kronos.
Yeah, just two things, and more Voyager as a company versus just the kind of the loyalty program. Michael and you guys mentioned it before that their bread and butter is their spread business, and kind of taking looking at their financials at a cursory review. Stone Cold, I don't know if you picked up on this, but reading some of their notes, their cost of capital is it seems like next to nothing. So they're loaning out all this crypto for like 10%, and them giving out 8% or 12% on DOT, or whatever the case may be on whatever coin you have staked with them. It doesn't. It seems like it doesn't cost them much. So the point of that being, longevity of the company. It's just again looking at their financial documents. And the other thing we didn't touch on, which to me seems to be a big kind of a big thing with the company as a whole, is their market rebellion. When if and when they finally bring in the equity kind of piece into the platform, I think that just opens up all sorts of floodgates, like you mentioned, Pepe. So kind of my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Floki. I gave you enough time.
Oh man. All right. So this is a company that has been built with an infrastructure of trust based off of proven leadership. This is the financial app of the future, man. It literally is a financial lifestyle app. Anything that has to do with finances, we've touched on so many things, is going to be there. I don't think we're going back, guys. I mean, like you said, we bounced right back up to 60K with Bitcoin. This is the hotels.com of cryptocurrency. This is Wall Street E-Trade meets Silicon Valley Uber. That is Voyager. I'm going to keep it short because it's an elevator pitch. That's what I got. Oh, and of course, most importantly, look around. Look at this Spaces. It has the best damn community in all of crypto. We are going to build this company right with Voyager, not affiliated, of course, but we're just here to contribute to our investment. And it's the best community in the world. So if not for them, for us.
So Coach Farr. So the moral story is that you're in the right place at the right time. Be patient. A lot of people make the mistake of not taking the time to learn what the app actually does. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't have the virtue of patience. If you're patient, this will pay off into the various tokens that you buy, such as VGX. There's other projects that are great. You can never go wrong with the Bitcoin, Ethereum, with Stormex, the ones that you and I have talked about today. So be patient and keep investing. Keep yourself aware and take the time to learn. Every one of us have been in your boat that this is your first call. This is your first app. So relax and it'll be a fun ride, brother. And thank you guys for providing Coach the elevator speech. This man does so much for my local community from a coaching perspective. It's unbelievable. So he works very, very hard, and the work that he does, unfortunately, sometimes goes unnoticed, but I notice it, Coach. So keep up the great work, brother. Thank you all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. It was great to have you here, Kronos. And I think while you're up here, I think congratulations are in order if I'm not mistaken. But I believe this crypto journey has brought some good news to your household. Is that not correct?
Yeah, it sure has. Something that I have not shared with you guys in the past is the following. I was in a pretty good position last November, and political forces at my previous employment took hold, and I got pink slipped. Okay. So when my son, the story that you heard, got me into cryptocurrency, I invested portion of the money that I had from a small severance that I had. So I was essentially starting over again. And when my son Marcos got me into Voyager, it came at the perfect time. So a year has passed, okay? And my wife on December 3rd is going to have the ability, that's going to be her last day at work. And whether or not she chooses to work or not is going to be entirely up to her, but she doesn't have to go back. And on the 3rd, I'm going to throw her a small party with a few of my friends and celebrate her, if she wants to be retired, retirement party. So there you go. Thank you, guys.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Congrats.
Hundreds.
That's amazing. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you spending your time coming in here and listening, giving this a chance. We hope that answered your questions and, built up some trust. Thank you for sharing once again. We want to hear from everybody. Big Tico, and then we'll get to you, Prison. Keep on requesting. We want to hear from everybody. We want to hear stories. You got a success story. There's nothing more than I want to hear. Like, a lot of people in the world out there are negative and like to push people down. That's not here. We want to hear every success story. We want to hear it from everybody that retired from crypto, everybody that's successful from crypto. Tell us anything and everything. We want to hear it. So go ahead, Big Tico.
Okay. So first off, Kronos, that's awesome, brother. Really, I'm super happy for you. That's an amazing story. You came a long way since then, and you're fantastic for the community. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, brother. All right. So kind of like Kronos, I brought a lot of new people here tonight. I've been on Stock Twits. Some quick numbers real quick. We went up 2,000 watchers in the last 48 hours. To put that in perspective, we only had 6,000 watchers to begin with. We're over 8,000 right now. So all eyes are on us. With that being said, I'm going to ask the panel some questions, and I kind of want to separate the questions for specific people based on expertise and just how I think it would be best answered. So I'm going to go into my notes real quick. Okay, here they are. So I wanted to touch base on the AVAX partnership and what that could kind of bring for the platform. That's going to be for Pepe. As far as the peer-to-peer payment processing, Coinify, I wanted to see if somebody can go more into depth with that as far as like the capabilities of the debit card, since we know how it's going to function. I wanted to leave that up to Michael. And then if anybody wanted to touch base, and if anybody has any basic level knowledge on the Fundstrat partnership with Tom Lee, as well as the Market Rebellion partnership, just so the new users or new potential investors understand what this is, how it's going to work, and how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I'll start off with the AVAX question. So AVAX is, a near costless method of trying to think of the best way to explain this, to transfer funds, make payments. It's very efficient at like parachain, do that. So what it can do for Voyager, I don't know the extent, I don't know how much they're going to bring in, but we know it NFT marketplace is coming. That would be a next to nothing NFT purchase of the gas that we're experiencing on, your OpenSeas. It would be near nothing. So that brings, that solves a lot of the issues people have with NFTs. AVAX actually also has capabilities of staking pools, and with staking pools, that offers the capability of lending so you could earn yield on lending while already earning yield. So kind of a quick breakdown of what that would entail would be something like you could do a staking pool of 50-50 VGX USDC, and it stays at a 50-50 ratio. So as VGX goes up, theoretically, it would sell off and then add more USDC, netting a profit. Or if VGX goes down, it would sell off some of the USDC to purchase more VGX. So it creates like you have the tokens, but you also have more of a safety net of it kind of does all the work for you on creating more stability. So that's kind of the main things at AVAX. I mean, we've seen the price, like people are very bullish on it. I've been very bullish on it. So fantastic ecosystem. There's a lot of capabilities and it's just the beginning of it. And I'll also touch on the Market Rebellion for a bit. So Voyager's subdivided as a company, so it's all under the Voyager name, but they have subcategories. And Market Rebellion's a part owner of the subdivided equity section. I can't remember what percentage is, but it's a pretty significant portion. So that just shows you that they're highly invested in this company and their specific aspect of the equities. So that's and those two brothers. I don't want to butcher their last name. Michael could say their last names, but they're very, very known. They're on CNBC near daily. Two super highly intelligent guys. Just, the resume of people involved in this company. Guy that helped scale Uber to what it is today. You got Steve. You got those two brothers. There's Mark on board. And that's not even touching the surface. So there's so many highly sophisticated people that have proven track records of building highly successful companies on board. But the AVAX news, I've like I said, the past few weeks, it's very underrated. It got a lot of attention at first. People are like, "Oh, that's cool," but when you look into the AVAX ecosystem, I think you'll get very bullish on it. If you go to their website, they have a very good website. It's super easy to read, learn about. I would highly recommend checking that out because there's so many unique things that it can do. And that's kind of a brief explanation of the two. But I'll pass it over to Michael for your question.
We're just gonna
sure.
real quick. AVAX hit its all-time high today, I believe. So, that sort of says something as well.
Yeah, real quick, Michael. It's also, they offer 11% staking through their own ecosystem. So it's not a matter of if at some point we're going to get a decently high yield of AVAX. I'm not saying it's going to be 11%, but I could easily see, an 8% on it coming. But yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, sure. So on the Coinify front, for anybody that doesn't really know what Coinify is or does, I know we've got a number of small business owners in our community, and they probably relate a little bit better than most, but everybody's at least been a consumer. And whether or not you understand the term, you've probably engaged with merchant services before. So as a business owner, if you basically need a merchant services account in order to be able to receive credit card payments in a storefront. So if you have basically the credit card terminals, whether it be with Square, which is the popular one now, or any of the other more kind of TradFi merchant services accounts, that's how you receive credit card payments. Coinify, think of it as the more digital, crypto-friendly way of digitizing and accepting crypto payments for your typical merchant accounts. So it's predominantly used abroad, although I do believe they have some domestic exposure. And I know that is growing. Per the earnings report that just came out, they seem to be roughly a break-even business at the moment, but I think that can certainly be accelerated into a profitable business as a standalone, revenue stream going forward, given Voyager's reach. But basically, they're enabling people to accept payment at the consumer level, merchant services level in crypto. And the big news that broke recently was that Voyager will be integrating VGX into that ecosystem so that people can actually transact in VGX as a medium of exchange, which was not really on many people's radar. So I think that's big news in and of itself. And some people, the first reaction might be, well, if this is a speculative asset that I think is going to go up, why would I be incentivized to spend it? And the same case can be made for spending many cryptocurrencies, especially once you get into taxation and taxable events and realized capital gains and all that. But what stuck out to me was a little kind of snippet from Steve, where he maybe inferred that in the future there might be some type of discount if you were to pay in VGX. And I think that if they got clever and creative with some type of an incentivization to promote the medium of exchange VGX token, I think that adds a whole nother layer to the tokenomics and the viability of the speculative asset going forward that many people really hadn't taken into consideration. So I think it could be that sleeping giant where it sounds like it might be a novelty at first until you realize, well, it's probably entirely within their control of how they tweak it and incentivize it to turn it from a novelty into a bona fide, top tier bullet point of the viability of the token itself.
Is having VGX give you discounts on your Uber ride share a crazy far-fetched idea, or
No, not at all. I mean that's realistically, I think what they're already doing with StormX. So I don't think that that's too far off base at all.
How about the Lotto.com deal?
Yeah, that's kind of, that was something that was announced a long time ago, or in crypto feels like a long time ago, that we haven't really got much updates on it. So I don't have the most knowledge on that. If somebody else does, they can speak on it. But Stone Cold, I see your hand raised if you have something to share as well.
Yeah, back to you, Michael. When we're talking about discounts with paying with VGX, do we foresee any scenario in the future where it would be treated as currency and not a taxable event every time you spend it? Or do we think that maybe Voyager thinks that the all the tax software that's out there that can do it easily enough come tax season, it's not going to be that big of an issue?
So not financial advice, not tax advice. I don't work for Voyager. I don't know directly the answer to the question, but I would say pretty conclusively that I don't think there's any chance that it's going to be deemed a currency and, forego cap gains. I think that if there were anything in the space that had a likelihood of doing that, it would be Bitcoin, because it's at least legal tender internationally. And I'd be inclined to see that has a chance of being treated as a forex and not as a commodity. But something like VGX, I think, especially in the ERC realm, where the SEC and the three-letter agencies are doing their little power trip dance right now, I don't think it's likely. So I think if I had to just go with like tiered likelihood of happening, I think it's much more likely that as the app develops, and hopefully I'm hopeful that Voyager comes up with an API so that these tax solutions that are out there don't have to rely on importing CSV files, which can be somewhat hit or miss, as some folks in the community can tell you. I think if they sure up the back end with an API that talks directly to something like TaxBit or CryptoTrader.tax or any of those solutions, I think that would be a way of just making it part of the norm. It's just something that people have to deal with, but it's fairly automated in the background and is not a front of mind concern for most people.
I also want to loop back around real quick, Big Tio, on the AVAX deal. Shingo, one of the co-founders of Ethos that later got merged into our VGX token. He's working on a project called Particle. It is a NFT marketplace. I don't know that it's still early on and they haven't released a ton on it, but they did release their pre-white paper. And to give a quick breakdown, it's going to be a fractionalized art NFT. So what that would be they would purchase real world art, high value, world renowned pieces, and they would fractionalize it into 10,000 sub pieces of this one art. So, obviously we can't afford $1 million painting or different works of art. So they would fractionalize that on the blockchain so that you could own small pieces of, these crazy artworks, proof, and it'd be verifiably on the blockchain. Still don't know the specifics on how they're going to do it, but fractionalized NFTs are already a thing, and it's just a great way to build exposure. And they get a crazy work of art, you can be a piece of history. I mean, for example, a piece of the Constitution is being sold. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but a lot of NFT projects or crypto projects are trying to get that for DAOs and things like that. So you get like a Picasso or something, or a piece of work that really speaks to you, or an artist that you've long time dreamed of having. You can be a sub piece owner of that too, and it would if you check out their website, I'll retweet the announcement, but you'll have almost like a coordinate grid. So, and how they're from the early shows, it's almost like a flippable NFT that you could flip it and it would show your specific square, and then it would also be able to flip and show the whole artwork as a whole, being able to show that, okay, that's the piece I own. You are part owner in this project. And it's almost a way of, I don't know how they're going to go about it, but typically on fractionalized art, as it, if the value goes up exponentially and they sell it, you would get your share of the profit share. So it's just another thing that's they're building. And, Shingo's very connected to Voyager. So, I mean, theoretically, that could be a Voyager specific product. I'm not saying it will, but things like that. So that's another exciting thing. But go ahead, Big Tico.
So the last question I have, and this is for Stone Cold. I wanted him to talk about, or if you could talk about, expansion. That's something that a lot of the new people aren't aware of, and I think it's important to touch base on, knowing that we're going to open up in Europe in Q1 of next year. Just touch base on that and kind of give a side-by-side comparison as far as the potential market of Europe to even the Coinbase listing tomorrow. How potentially big that could be for Voyager.
Yeah, so Europe would definitely be the big one. I believe they mentioned March, first quarter next year. And we're talking the population. So it starts with France, but the entire population of Europe is double the US. So, I mean, that's quite the customer base you'd be able to onboard. We don't know how soon the entire continent's going to be onboarded, but I think you said they start with France and then possibly Germany, I think you mentioned. And then you have Canada and New York. So both of those we're just really waiting on those territories to approve the license. Everything's been submitted, ready to go. I think Canada is, I know Daniel Finance is going to be excited for that one. I think that's going to be the lowest population that we would have on board on the Voyager. And then New York is, I'm from Texas. I don't care for New York, but it is the financial capital of the world. And I would love to see Voyager there. Steve's from New York, and hopefully we get that sooner rather than later. I know we have new mayor in New York. Is very pro Bitcoin, so we'll see if they can get things moving on that front.
Yeah, it is the mayor. And touching on that, after he was elected, I believe it was 3 sports betting apps/websites were authorized like a few days later. So stuff's getting done. It's coming. But I'll move over to Felix. You've been up here. You got anything to share?
Hey guys, thank you always having me on. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to come up real quick and promote what we're doing here. I want to give a shout out to the panel. I like to come up every once in a while and tell everyone how hard the education group works to get these out every week. And they've been doing it for a long time. I know there's a lot of new listeners, and it wasn't always as nice as today or the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks has been a lot of news, a lot of details coming out. But it was rough early on, and these guys really churned out great information. Really helped out a lot of VGX holders to kind of get themselves through some rough times. And now today is kind of we're reaping what we sowed a little bit, and it's everybody's feeling good. So we want that positivity to continue. And everybody, if you're new and if you've been here for a while, you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord. The Discord. We've done massive improvements in the last couple of weeks, the last month or so, and we're improving every day. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to offer more to the community. We're trying to give you more value to something that you're not going to find in any other crypto community. That's pretty much 100% free. All you got to do is just join the Discord, and you get sidekick access to some of the basic channels. All you got to do is just choose a hero and become minted as a VGX hero in order to get the full shebang. And there's a lot of things that we have there. We have an NFT channel, we have an equities channel, we have charts channel, we have even a cooking and cocktails channel that we just created for all you food and drink heads. So we're doing a lot. And just a shout out to everybody for coming up and listening. Those who have been here through thick and thin from the beginning, appreciate you guys. And to all the new listeners, I hope you guys become, thick and thin listeners and VGX heroes as well. Love you guys.
Hey, we appreciate it as always, Felix. You read our mind. You helped Floki out because that's segueing. We're going to talk about our VGX heroes a little bit, explain the project, explain our functional groups a little bit better because we often kind of run through it. So we're going to give a good explanation for everybody, make it easy to timestamp in Crypto Airborne's YouTube video of this stream posted after. So it'll make it easy for kind of relay the information. So we'll pass it over to Sun Tzu and Floki and let y'all take over.
Sun Tzu, you go ahead, man. I'm going to rip off you. I'll go after you, man. Go for it.
All right, sounds good. So I didn't really introduce myself. I'll keep that short. I am VGX hero Sun Tzu, number 15. I for the most part, I don't want to say manage the social media, but I'm a big part of it. And we've got our Discord, we've got the Community Heroes page, we've got a Facebook group, which, you know, doesn't see too much activity, but, you know, it exists for anyone that's in that space. And we also have an Instagram. The Instagram is more of just a collection of artwork that our creative team has done, mainly UT Snake Eyes and Duke Nukem. And our hero John Wick also just recently joined up in there. So that's kind of the Instagram. The community Twitter page is, you know, just we keep it short and sweet there. You know, we put ourselves out there. We try to stay updated with news and things like that. So, you know, if you're not following this page, go ahead and do that. The Facebook group, as I said, you know, we're still building that up. There's not much going on, but it exists. And then you know, that brings me to the Discord. That's kind of our central hub for communication. That's where, you know, anyone is free to join, and there's no pressure on becoming a hero or committing to anything that you're not ready for. We offer everyone that comes in a sidekick role, and what that is just I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's a role that's assigned to you that helps us organize the Discord. And as you move up the ranks, you can gain access to more depending on, you know, what you're interested in, what you want to do. Currently, we've got, I think Floki updated us earlier. We're just shy of 550 heroes, which is insane. You know, back in July, it started with just a few of us, and it's been growing ever since. So in just a few short months, we've exponentially grown. And so within the Discord, we've got a category called leadership teams. And what that does is we've separated them out into creative, education, onboarding, social, and tech. And each one of those things is such an important role. If you're looking to join those, there's no expectations. It's not like, you know, you have to do this. There's times and deadlines or whatever. It's very laid back. You know, you can come, try it out, see if it's something you like doing. You know, if you like creating custom artwork, or, you know, just making any kind of pictures, stuff like that, you know, the creative team might be something you like doing. The education team, you see that here. You know, we've got just this wealth of knowledge coming from volunteers that are happy to help everyone and strive to teach people about the space, about crypto, about Voyager. You know, it's not just Voyager. It's anything crypto that you're interested in. We've got our onboarding team. If you like just, you know, being a social butterfly, so to speak, you know, if you want to just welcome people into the space, welcome people into the Discord, help with hero minting, you know, stuff like that. The onboarding team is always happy to have new faces. We've got the social team, which you know, that's what I'm involved mostly in. You know, if you're into creative writing, or you know, newsletters, you know, things like that. You know, if you just, maybe you're on Twitter all day and you see things and you're like, hey, you know, maybe you should retweet this, or maybe, you know, this is something important that we should look into. You know, it could be something as simple as that. The tech team, that's kind of, we're still building that up, but, you know, if you have knowledge about Discord and, you know, setting up bots or designing websites or apps, or, you know, any tech kind of stuff, that could be a good place for you. So you know, that's just to touch on the leadership teams. And then, as I said earlier, the roles. When you first join, by default, everyone is placed in sidekick. And you know, that's you get access to our community channel, our investing channel, other crypto, things like that. And once you decide, you know, if you want to become a hero, then you're opened up to all the other things. And I see Floki had the hand up there. So, if Floki, if you want to expand on all the different channels we have and whatever else, go ahead with that.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect setup, man, and a good time to transition. Thanks. Can we get a round of 100s and fists for Sun Tzu? Sun Tzu, I need to pronounce that better. He's done a wonderful job doing all of the art cataloging for Instagram and managing all of the hero page stuff, which kind of leads to a couple of things, right? First, I just want to talk about what participation actually looks like on the different levels. So you join Sidekick, you get access to the basic community stuff, right? Just enjoy talking to people. Once you become a hero, it starts at the basic level of just having fun, right? That's the first part, just being active, right? If that's all you want to do, that's awesome. Get on Twitter, post gifts, talk to people, add positive sentiment to the community, right? The next level up from that is those that want to contribute a little bit more. And I want to make sure that, I'll volunteer myself, of course. I'm sure Aragorn doesn't mind as well. And, even Space Ghost, Felix, if you guys are really interested on contributing to the community a little bit more, we want to make sure that we empower you to do what is most rewarding for you, whether that's in a recreational, fun way or more of an, education, creative, tech, even grunt work. If you're just looking to just help with some of the house cleaning, and there's a ton of it. It's important stuff, and we could sure use the help. We're trying to get ahead of this price action. From a hero's perspective, this jump today, it's like, oh crap, we gotta up our operation a little bit, and we could sure use some help. We have a couple of other heroes that will be joining Sun Tzu on the Twitter front, so you'll be seeing different personalities. From the movie Split, you'll never know if you'll get Patricia or whoever. It's going to be fun. If I had to focus on what we need right now, it would have to be the onboarding team. So let me just do a quick run through of the different pieces. You don't have to do an end-to-end part or full process. It starts with, as people come into the door to Discord, you just say hello, you welcome them, you tell them about, the Discord, encourage them to pick a hero, conversate, just connect, right? If you're a people person, that is the perfect role for you. And then once you find who their hero is, you would pass it along to our mentors. If you're not a mentor yourself, we basically say, hey, it's this guy's Twitter tag, he wants to be this character, and then we write up an announcement to post onto Twitter to literally mint this character. And so if you're a creative writer, for example, this is a really fun outlet. I can't tell you how much fun I've had. I kind of miss it, minting characters, looking on, fandom and wiki and reading all these different cultures that I wasn't aware of. So that's a lot of fun. And then as well, just basic recruiting as well. That's not necessarily onboarding, but it ties into it. You see people that have interest on Twitter, whether it be a Voyager post or some of our posts, just reach out and connect with them. This is what this community is about. It's a running joke that Aragorn's a bot. He is not a bot. He is a real guy. And we are not bots either. Sending that virtual hug or that virtual joint, so to speak, to people is what our community is about, making personal connections. We're going to be having meetups as well, just to get to know each other. I can't begin to tell you how rewarding it is to just connect with people and have friends in this space. I started with 0 and now I have hundreds. I'm going to be able to go anywhere in the country, soon the world, and be like, hey, heroes, where you at? Let's hang out. So yeah, all the leaders in this space, reach out to us if you want to contribute more and you want to shape this community, because we want to give this community a platform to do more for all of you, for each other. And with that being said, I want to make sure I see Sri up here. you could go ahead and say what's up, man. What's up, Monkey King? How you doing?
Good. A little drunk, but good. Did you just say Arrogant is not a bot?
He's totally a bot. Floki's just trying to give him plausible
100%.
deniability. He's totally a bot. It's bullshit.
Yeah, Floki helped design him, so he's got to make it. He can't give it away.
I'm just making sure. Is it something I heard misheard or something that is not true? I thought it was always a bot.
Yeah, you're right. Don't listen to Floki.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, this community is the best community out there. A lot of good folks with who are motivated to help others. If you're not in here, you're missing out. I just joined here like 5-6 weeks back, and I enjoy it every day. That's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just a quick, feel free. We got through our topics. If anything you've heard, you want to know more about, you got questions about, you want to add to, start requesting. We want to hear from everybody.
Floki, while we're on the topic of meetups real quick, do you have enough details coming together yet? I know you're working on getting one together out there in Cali.
We have made a connection with another new hero also here in Cali, so I'm going to coordinate with the cryptologist, and more to come soon. It's just nothing official. It's just me being like, hey guys, let's get together. I'm in Southern California. I went through our list of 500 or so heroes. If you had California in your bio on Twitter, or if I just remember having a conversation with you and that you're in California, I tried to include you. I'm thinking December 3rd, what is it, the week? I know December 18th, December 12th or 11th, the second or third week of December, but I'm always down to kick it. I know, go ahead, Space Ghost. I know you're going to be coming into town as well.
I was going to say, I just confirmed about an hour ago that I'm going in on the 12th. That's Saturday, and I'll be in LA on the 12th.
Then I'm changing it. We're doing the 12th and the 18th. I don't even care. I'm down to meet up both weekends in a row. But I'm thinking downtown Long Beach is a really cool spot, and you could always take the train right into downtown LA from that spot, which is cool. There's also the Heroes Bar in downtown Fullerton. I'm thinking an all-day event potentially. Depending on the number of people, we can figure out hotel situations. But either way, I want to get into the habit of meeting you guys. I've met 30 plus heroes so far, and it's awesome. And we might even have an app to track meeting different heroes sometime soon, like a Disney scrapbook back in the day when you're meeting all the characters and you get their signature or a photo taken. We have a lot of ideas being tossed around in terms of meetups, and some of that is education as well. So fun meetups is, I think, going to spur some education stuff. So yeah, looking forward to meeting as many of you guys as possible, and let's keep this community growing.
All coming soon, right?
Hashtag soon in a straight jacket. Yeah,
very soon.
Kronos, I saw you pop back up. What you got, man?
You can go ahead, Sunzu. We're waiting on him.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I popped up. No, I was just listening.
Okay, no worries. Sunzu, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so just to add to the meetups thing, that is another example of one of the channels we have in Discord. We've got events, meetups, activities, and thanks to Mr. Corleone who designed that. When you come in, there's a channel called Put Yourself on the Map, and it lists every state, a few different countries. And what you do is you go in there, you hit the emoji designated to your state or country, and that can give everyone else an idea of how many people are located in that area or that state or whatever. And you can organize whatever you want. If you want to meet up for coffee, you want to whatever you want to do. That adds to the coming soon feature. It's in progress. We are working on that, and I see that being a good thing. And then in terms of other channels, if people are interested, once you become a hero, we've got it's not even just crypto. We've got sports, gaming, a movie night, there's the cooking, the cooking thing that we just added. If you just want to share pictures of your lunch, I mean, shit, go for it. Maybe someone will be inspired by it. There's just so much going on in the Discord, and I would really encourage everybody to hop in there. There's no pressure at all as far as how much you need to participate or communicate. You can just sit there and lurk and enjoy everything that's going on.
Yeah, and as far as the Put Yourself on the Map channel and the Meetups channel there, if you've gone ahead and put yourself on the map, or even if you haven't, all those state badges then become taggable. So you can then hop into the Meetups channel and tag whatever state you want. So, for example, I'm in Florida. If I wanted to go ahead and throw something together and just make sure that I included everybody from Florida, all I have to do is hop in the Meetups channel, tag @Florida, and then type my message, and then everybody that's already self-identified as being in the state is going to go ahead and be in the loop. So, and it's probably the only place on the Discord where I've actually seen it beneficial to use threads too, because I saw that there are threads now pursuant to a Texas meetup that's coming together. So Stone Cold, you're probably more in the loop because you're in Texas, and I believe you're going to be attending. You want to share some details on what's going on in Texas?
Oh yeah. So DJ Crypto is putting together a get-together at the December 3rd Mavericks game against the Pelicans. I think they're getting the meetup pregame. They're going to be putting that together. He's giving out free T-shirts, but there's not really a plan for ticket seating. So if anyone wants to sit together, I think we're kind of trying to put a deadline of next week to get a head count, and it'd be a lot more fun if we're all sitting together at a stadium instead of hanging out pregame, throwing back a couple beers, and all going our separate ways for the game. So if you're not on the Discord, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll make sure we get you down. If you are in the Discord, just go to the meetup channel, make sure you mark yourself down as attending, and we'll get you a ticket. And hopefully we see anyone there. If there's anyone that doesn't want to stay downtown, pay those stupid Dallas hotel prices, shoot me a line. I'll be more than happy to give you a ride if you're staying a little bit further out. Don't want to save a couple bucks on the Uber. So whatever it takes to get more people out there, it's going to be a good time.
I want to see you hit that half court shot, man.
Oh, God.
You're next.
It's a half quarter bust. So,
how many drinks can I have before?
However many it takes to make it.
Unless we've got any more housekeeping on the hero side of the front, I do have a question for the panel as far as the token itself and where we go from here. So, Loki, you got anything else before we keep going?
Token wise?
No, anything else on the heroes community stuff before I ask everybody about the token?
I think I'm good. Let's just get out there and have some fun and start there. And if you don't feel like that's fulfilling enough, hit us up and help build this community with us. We're all just volunteers of our time and we donate a lot of it because of how much fun it is. It's family friend vibes. So I'm looking forward to getting closer with a lot more of you guys.
Nice. Well, thanks for that, and thanks, Sunsu, for all your contribution to helping to organize and spearhead all the efforts that you take on. I think you're a bit of an unsung hero because you operate under the banner of the VGX Heroes Twitter account, but you're putting in some time and busting your ass, and it doesn't go unnoticed. But so back to some educational content, or at least some token related content. I've got a question for the panel. As we know, things don't go up in a straight line. Sometimes they take the elevator down in a straight line, but usually things don't go up in a straight line. And if they do, it's not necessarily the healthiest of things. So we had a nice pump here today, and hopefully we set a new floor. I'm not sure if we stay where we are, if we retrace a little bit or mean revert. But what levels is everybody eyeing on the way up? Like what are the, and Pep, I'll start with you, because I think you probably do the most TA out of who we've got up on the panel right now. But what levels are you eyeing as pivotal to you? Like when we get above this, it should set a new floor here. Or, what are you targeting, both on the way up and then as establishing support on the way back down for any kind of retest?
All right, you gotta give me a heads up on stuff like this. All right. So with the new chart, you can't really tell anything because we're at essentially the all-time high of our post-merger chart. But I'm looking for a healthy pullback to, like a 360-ish range. If we can hold somewhere there, or that's about what I have for around the 360, 347 levels for a retracement back. I think that'd be healthy because you get a pump up, and if we're having a bad day, Bitcoin dumps or something, if we don't have an established floor or like a new high or higher low, then you're susceptible to go all the way back down to 250. So I wouldn't mind a 364 it's looking like, or a 347 levels on the way down. On the way up, it's so hard to tell because those levels. But I'm looking at these. So we just kind of bounced off right at the 355 or 455 level, 454. So I'd say I'm looking at kind of a right at the 5 psychological level. And I think if we can bounce off the 5, get like a smaller, higher low, above 5 it's pretty green grass. And we've been so low for so long. I think that getting to about a 550 level from there to the previous all-time high, not considering the 11, I mean that's a pretty open field, and I think fun can really get going there. And that previous all-time high of, I don't have the chart in front of me since Trading View doesn't have the prior chart. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I believe it was like 714 around there. So I think from the 550 to the 714's green grass, and we could easily get a blow off top above that before we get a nice correction. So that's kind of my input on it.
Nice. Thanks. Stone Cold, what are you thinking over there? I saw you're getting pretty active in the charts channel and starting to draw some boxes on stuff. You got a roadmap that you're thinking for what VGX does here?
I am certainly not confident enough to trade off my own chart yet. So I've only kind of did a little watch trade on VGX back when it was around the 230, 240 range, and I was sweating bullets the entire time, waiting for it to come back down so I could wash my funds and get back into VGX. I think I know where it's going, and all the levels in between are going to be just noise for me. I mean, I could throw out numbers, but I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm just going to watch it, hopefully go past them. But I'm not going to be trading any of these levels. I'm going to sit back. I'm content with my bag, with my current status. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at now. And maybe if I get a little better with the charts, I might do something. But I'm happy where everything's at now.
Yeah, I think today's bump caught up a bunch of people by surprise. So I would imagine that there's a healthy amount of people that were doing that whole swing trade where you sell at 310 and buy back at 260 that probably got caught with their pants down today that had to buy back in for higher. So sometimes you do all that swinging in and out just to end up on the wrong side of it.
Could you imagine the feeling of what people who did that and missed out today? I don't want that.
Yep, that's one of those things where it's better to be lucky than good, and it's hard to be good. So for most, I would probably advocate that you don't even try. But if it works out for you, then God bless. I hope everybody makes as much money as they can. But it's a super hard thing to time right. Anybody else on the panel have any magic numbers that they're circling on their chart that they're waiting to see?
I sure do.
Go for it.
So I've got the meme chart up here. And, I see us coming back down to a 316, and then bouncing from there up to a 420, and then we'll hover around there for a bit in this cloud, and as eventually we'll break out into the 690 range, and from there we're gonna blast straight off into $11.11.
Maybe a quick pick drop at 7-Eleven just to grab a slushy or something.
Ooh,
Dude, I see the logic. Yeah, I fully am behind it, man.
Always put the meme chart.
Michael, what are you looking at? Give us some numbers.
So I'll be the first to admit, and I've been telling everybody in the Discord, I'm not actively charting VGX because, for one, I think the data's shit since the swap. And I think that the post-swap chart's been impossible to actually draw conclusions from because the data is garbage. And even that hack to get the trading view chart to show you the merge data, it's on such an illiquid like exchange that there's just gaps everywhere. So I'm not really putting much stock in the chart yet. I think that for me, it's more of a like intuitive feeling kind of thing, which is not really something that I would ever trade off of. It's just kind of like things that are in the back of my mind that won't surprise me. And to me, I remember the ride up to 7 and change, and I remember the FOMO that was going on, and then feeling like anybody that I talked to after that point, there was this consensus opinion like, oh man, if you can get it below 5, just buy it with both hands. So like we really didn't spend a whole lot of time above 5, between 5 and 7.14 or whatever. So I'm not really thinking that there's too many people that are bag holding up in that territory that really truly bought the top. So I don't think that we're going to get a lot of sell pressure up above those levels. I think that your levels that you hit really kind of align with my intuition. Like up above 550 and really up above 5, I think we clear 5 and it's smooth sailing back up to the all-time high is my expectation. I think that because a lot of people after the peak had that same impression of like, all right, if it gets below 5, I'm buying it all. And then they bought the dip that just kept dipping and they just knife caught all the way down to $1 and change. There's obviously, none of us are new to this stupid bird app, and we've seen all the trolls out there, and we know what people have said. There's plenty of people that are feeling a ton of pain that bought in that $4 to $5 range. So if we ranged in the 4 to 5 range, while some of those people got to take their sanity check and just get out, I'm not going to think that that's too unhealthy for the overall price trajectory of things. I'd rather see those tokens end up in some fresh hands that maybe don't have the battle scars. You know, some of these trolls out there, I feel like I want to have them like where on the doll the token touched them or the heroes touched them. It's rough. Some people went through some hard shit and really at this point are just fresh out of optimism no matter what it does. So there are some people that need to flush themselves out. So I think that from 4 to 5 we probably see some ranging, and then we flush those people out, and once we break 5, I think we get up. I don't think that there's much resistance above that point to get back to the all-time high. But personally, I'm not looking to exit the position. I'm not looking to swing trade it. So there aren't too many price points that I think are pivotal. I do think that like 12 to 18 is realistic for where I think this could go. I'm not saying that it can't go higher than that, but I've already expressed my aversion to the just $30 number that's been beaten into everybody's head. So I don't want to contribute to setting people up for disappointment with that number. If it gets there, great. If it gets past that in future bull cycles, I mean, I've already made the mathematical case for where it could get to if it really did grow to be akin to frequent flyer mile programs. But in the short term, I think this 4 to 5 range, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to flush out some of the folks that are the grumpy folks on Twitter. And then once we get past that point, I think we start to really fly.
Well,
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, Michael, let me ask a question, or a couple of them.
Yeah.
With Coinbase coming on board tomorrow in the exchange, and I guess I'm going into a Nirvana type of optimism. If New York comes on board over the next 30 to 45 days, what do you think? I'm sorry. What do you think that will do to the token?
So, to be perfectly honest, I think it depends on how much it's marketed and how much traction we get with actually marketing the token. I think that Steve has been abundantly transparent that the token is not the first thing that gets marketed to people, because he's a very big proponent of, don't interrupt that happy path to get people onboarded. So if priority number 1 is onboard folks, I'm not sure that even the ability to onboard another, couple million with the flip of a switch, I'm not sure that creates an overnight buy pressure on the token. I think it's more of a gradual rollout, but I think we'll have to see. I have honestly seen a pretty big uptick in Voyager's direct marketing of the token this week. So I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised and see them put it front and center. He's expressed some receptiveness to some of the ideas as far as like putting the token logo in the app. And realistically, everybody's got a bunch of great ideas, and this community has contributed so much towards, everybody has their idea that they think would make everything perfect, and everybody's got their silver bullet in mind. But at the end of the day, I think that Steve is absolutely right in his approach that you need to get people in the door first and then educate them on it over time. I think it'll be stickier that way. And I think that it'll increase their overall numbers and what your overall target audience could be, and increase the ultimate total addressable market for the token. So yeah, a roundabout way of saying, I think that it increases the potential greatly because it's that many more people that could be exposed to the ecosystem and that could benefit from the loyalty program. I'm just not sold that it's an overnight light switch kind of effect. And I want to take past experience and apply it to the future to just have a more measured expectation. And I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than expect this vertical elbow in the curve and not get it.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit more, optimistic on it. I see a euphoric phase coming, and I don't think we're very far from those levels at all. Almost like the initial run up. I think there's going to come a point, like you can see it in just how people reacted today from this pump. I mean, we get much more. People are going to be, most of the people that kind of been DCAing, building their bags already are up well, but there's going to get to a point that, everybody that's buying is going to get up. And I see a very real possibility of a pure euphoria of everybody kumbaya happiness, and then getting some bullish news, getting on Coinbase, not Coinbase Pro, but pure Coinbase. I could see a very euphoric push to the new all-time high.
Yeah, on that note, I could also see the Coinbase. Sorry, Floki, I cut you off. I could see the Coinbase opportunity potentially making it a more measured climb and maybe somewhat preemptively getting the New York folks in, because it's the most retail friendly way for a New Yorker to buy the token now. Because really, what do they have? They have Coinbase and they have Gemini, I think, at the moment. Otherwise, they've got to operate in some sort of DEX, which I think we know from our own community, most people either aren't the most savvy at or understand that the economics of making it worth the gas fees to transact on a DEX are currently kind of upside down and broken. So it's probably the most frictionless way to buy the token for a New Yorker, outside of, finding a family member with an address out of state or something along those lines. So maybe maybe part of that run up that we're seeing right now is you're front loading the ability to onboard those New Yorkers before the app itself goes live in New York.
So I look up in the stars and I've consulted the seer and I've channeled my Viking spirit. I'm just kidding, or am I? I'm trying not to repeat what what all the panel said, but I'm pretty in line with all of it. First off, I ain't trading this. I ain't messing around. I do not want to miss the way up. I checked today and I looked at the run up of January, February, and then it went to like 4, and then it dropped down to around 3.5, give or take 20 cents in either direction. So I think the 3.5 level sounds right about there for a retrace. I'd be very surprised if we go below 3. Psychologically, I think the $5 level, just from the United States bill standpoint, will be a hurdle, and then you compound that with all of the pirates out there on Twitter that just want their way out. I think we're going to flush out some of those guys that have been really stressed out, that have lost their marbles, so to speak. And then from there, it's going to be really interesting. I think like the harder the pendulum swings sort of thing, like at the $5 level, we'll see ranges between 4 and 6. And then at the $10 level, we'll see 8 and 12. But I think once we break the 5 range, new all-time highs for sure. And I ain't never selling below my VLP tier. No freaking way. I'm going to pass that on to my children. Yeah, that's what I got.
I will say this for anybody interested: if we do start to see history rhyme with the run up to 7, everyone should get intimately familiar with drawing fibs on charts, because I don't think I've ever seen a run in any asset, crypto, equities, anything, that responded so programmatically to fib levels as did the VGX chart in that initial run up, as if it was like just mechanically programmed to just bounce at the right levels. And it just go back and for some charting practice, find an old chart and put some fib levels on each of those steps up, and it was a pump up and then a pullback to a fib level and then a pump and then a pullback to a fib level, and they were just like harmonic in nature, repeated one after the other, if we start to see that repetition on this chart here, everybody should absolutely start drawing some fibs on their charts.
Two questions. One is a weird one. Is there anybody by a computer that could tell me the exact time that we saw that run up? It was like 12 something. And this is just for my own personal weird crypto Twitter magic thing. I'm putting the dots together. And
That's PST.
What was that?
That would be PST, right?
Yeah, 12 p.m. PST. I'm in Cali. That is correct. And then my second question is, you talked about how perfectly the run-up fit to the charts. Could you say the same thing for the triple top that we experienced afterwards in terms of battling resistance levels?
I can take a look and let you know. I honestly didn't chart it much on the way down. It was falling knife, and my attention was elsewhere. And I was already in. You know, there's a few things that I've caught along the way, but I'll be the first to admit I'm one of those people that's been in since 8 cents. So I have not played around at the like higher than $1 levels as much as most people. But I'll take a look and see if it jumps out at me.
Got it.
According to CoinMarketCap, 1/6/2008, when it hit 11:02, it was at 6 p.m. EST. So what, 9 p.m. PST, 1/6/18.
So
is that what you meant, Fluggy? You meant the ethos pump, or you mean the January or this year?
No, I meant today. Today. What time today did we
Oh.
from the twos? I mean the low threes and high twos to where we are.
So today was 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, so that would have been 3 p.m. Eastern or noon Pacific.
I want the down to the minute, by the way. Wonder Woman, I see you there.
Yeah, hey, I'm on CoinMarketCap, and for Pacific time, it says the exact run-up, 12:29 p.m.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put a little tweet together a little bit later on that. Thank you.
It also says in 9 seconds, if you care to have that.
Ooh, I like the extra 9. I like the extra 9 there. It matters.
Voyager Silent Bob, you came up here a little bit ago if you had a question for us. Anything? You're muted. Do you have a question or anything you want to add? All right, Mr. FOMO, yeah, you also hopped up here. If you have anything to share.
Just to kind of disagree with what some of you guys are saying about selling when you get to the 5 range, or I lived up to my name and I bought in at 590 back in I think February or March or something like that, and I don't plan on selling those. I plan on hanging on to those because of the value that they give me. You know, we're talking about the extra percentages that you get. We're talking about Europe, we're talking about Asia, we're talking about New York. There's all these different benefits that are incoming. To me, as an investor, as somebody who is looking at this as, you know, possibly, and this might be provocative, but possibly a stronger store of value than Bitcoin or Litecoin because of the benefits and because of the potential for growth. To me, the selling pressure just isn't there, and I would encourage people who did buy in at the same levels to DCA and hang on, because you're in for a strong ride.
I think that's great. I think that it's great to hear somebody remain optimistic that bought in at those levels, and you're obviously not the case that we're talking about. We're more referring to the folks that really just can't help themselves, but from dragging their ass on the carpet all over Twitter for the last 6 months. So your optimism has not been reflected in a subset of people that I think we are referring to. But I would agree with your thesis if I were in your shoes. There's just a handful that, you know, sometimes there's attrition and there is turnover, and when you turn over from weak hands to stronger hands, that's ultimately a long-term net positive. So that's more what I'm referring to, is if there's a handful of folks that don't have that conviction, that bought in at those levels, that feel the need to turn it over, then I would feel confident that they would turn it over to hands that would ultimately be stronger than theirs. So that's where I think it builds a base of longer-term strength.
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. There are those trolls out there, but I think the smarter money, the smarter people are just going to DCA and hang on. And I would encourage. I didn't mean to be kind of oppositional, but I just, I wanted to encourage those people who are maybe thinking about investing in this. You know, stay in it for the long haul because there's a lot of benefit on the back end of this that's incoming.
Absolutely. No, and I appreciate it. I don't see it as oppositional or argumentative. It's actually refreshing to hear somebody that's optimistic that bought in high. So I appreciate you coming up here. And just for future reference, if anybody does want to come up and disagree with us, we're welcome to that too. We don't have a monopoly on our opinions up here. So definitely feel free to come up and request the mic. But I'm hopeful that you end up back above your DCA here pretty soon.
Oakenshield, good to see you, longtime friend.
What
It's been
up?
a little while since I've gotten to speak to you.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, two things. Yeah, excellent AMA. Shinzu, Pepe, Mike, Floki, Wonder Woman, Felix, Kronos, 3, Frankie, Mr. FOMO. By the way, agree with Mr. FOMO. Yeah, just excellent. I really don't have anything insightful or inspiring to say. I just wanted to point out the I guess the levity that Voyager Silent Bob rang to the group a moment ago by not saying anything. So that was it.
He lived up to his name. That he did.
Yeah, what a great night, and just highly encouraging. Sentiment matters. Our voices matter. The family atmosphere that we're trying to create, I think, matters. Getting together live, right? I mean, it goes from digital to physical. We can, just share, just enjoy life together. It's just a great community, healthiest in crypto. Would just encourage that this sort of vibe continues and we don't lose what we have here. So it's just invaluable. Forget about the VGX token price for a second. Just the interpersonal relationships that have been built over the past few months. I mean, think about where you guys were a year ago and where you are today. I mean, I didn't think I would be a shirtless dwarf king on a spaces that didn't exist. I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy. The world is changing so quickly. We have to be nimble, but in between, if we can continue to make these personal connections and make it personal and make it positive and keep out the FUD, be realistic, right? Don't disregard the data, the information that comes at you that may not be agreeable, but you got to acknowledge. But really highlight the positives, and I think that this group does a great job with that. I'm personally impressed by the amount of volunteer time that goes on with the VGX heroes and the Discord, which every single time I get on the AMA, I admit that I don't participate nearly enough. I have 3 kids, by the way, and it's really loud in my house, so I don't get much work done, even in between the times when I'm supposed to be running my business. But I am just very grateful for everything that you guys do and the insights. Mike, dude, I don't know what your IQ is. It's got to be off the charts. You're very articulate. You have great insights. You come to these AMAs really prepared, and I just eat up what you say. Every question seems to be a little unique, a little twist on it, and you seem to have a good view on things, and just, I don't know, these mental cliffs notes that you rely on that, yeah, I'm sure you accumulate subconsciously that help you out through the course of these Q&As. But Floki, just very inspiring. Shinzu, the total approach here, the blitz on the GMs. Good morning. It's amazing. Everybody's just pulling in the same direction. Everybody's rowing at the right cadence. We're all going in the same place, and it's important that we keep that momentum up. You look at valuations of stocks like Tesla, like a lot of the EVs. everybody, if you watch CNBC, these guys don't know what the hell is going on. They have no idea how to evaluate these companies because they've never seen anything like it. Crypto's the same way. They've never seen like it. They don't know the secular momentum, the agitation by the middleman, the average Joe that has seen his real income being declined or decreased because of the inflation that's in this market, the amount of that he's spending on just heating his home this winter. It's ridiculous. And it's amazing that there are people that are mystified by why these sorts of folks would want to focus on decentralized assets that cannot be touched, cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated by central banks, that are finite supply, that have utility, that have value, that are immutable, secure, and these are the folks that are creating policy, which is scary. What's encouraging is that you got guys like Steve Ehrlich, you got guys and that founded Uber, you got guys, and these are exchange partners of Voyager, Coinbase. Like it or not, CZ is out there. He's pounding the pavement. You've got everybody in our industry that where we're invested is focused on getting the regulators the right message, and I think it's starting to penetrate the dialogue there in Washington, because you're starting to see where initially it was, we got to ban crypto. Now it's like, well, how are we going to tax it? I mean, that's amazing. The whole Gensler thing, he's not banning crypto. He said it out loud. That was a milestone, I think, in the evolution of the industry here. And what's even better is that guys like Steve are trying to optimize where we end up with it. And so, it'll be taxed. I totally agree with Mike. It's gonna be there. You're gonna have to treat it kind of like gold or whatever. If you get appreciation on it, you're gonna have to pay taxes on it. But it'll exist, and it can't be inflated. So there's going to be a small piece where Uncle Sam holds his hand out, but there's going to be an end to this, which is going to be highly favorable to those that have adopted early, much like the internet in the early 2000s, and that's where we are. So with that monologue, I'll stop.
Dude, you have the best monologues. You just missed one thing, is that we also got Crypto Cartel on our side.
Oh, that's right.
That
dude is prolific.
I've never seen anyone hit the fist emoji that many times in 5 seconds. So kudos to you, Mr. Cartel.
Thank you, Oakenshield. We love it when you come up here and share your words with us, man. Seriously, you're the man. And one of our early inspirations, me personally, inspirations for this whole Heroes movement. So give yourself some credit where credit's due, man. Thank you.
Floki, I've got a site out in Vernon, in southern Los Angeles. I'm trying to get to that. I will let you know when I'm landing. We will have some bourbon.
That sounds.
We'll have some more, and it will be great.
Heck yeah, dude! I'll let you touch my beard too if you like.
Well, okay.
One hell of an offer.
Sounds good. Just
we're gonna have a blast, man.
It's a function of the amount of bourbon we have together. So yeah, there we go.
Well, I don't want to be outdone. So I am Colombian, so I will share a cup of coffee.
Kronos, oh, you're out there too. Absolutely. Congratulations on your lifestyle change. I'm so happy for you and your wife, and they'll just the total quality of life direction that you've been able to improve. I mean, it's just amazing. Thank you for your story.
No problem. I'm in Michigan, so if anybody ever wants to do a meetup in Michigan, let me know.
Appreciate you, like everybody else said, Oakenshield. It's good to hear from you. I'll always love hearing from you when we get to. Appreciate everything you've done. Very early contributor, so we appreciate you. Kronos, did you have some questions?
I'm sorry. One more thing. All right, I see Ross and Crypto Daddy Pig. So I'm gonna have to ask UT Snake Eyes to draw me in a thong, vis-a-vis crypto, Daddy Pig. And then Ross, I need to up my fish game, man. I haven't listened to them since college, and then the other day I'm like, screw it, I'm downloading some fish. Well, I'm not downloading because I'm actually on the cloud. God, how old am I? Anyway, so yeah, I am.
You want a monster?
So I started listening to some fish again, man, for the first time in a while. I've been jamming out. Now, I bought it 420 earlier this evening. Some VGX is symbolic. I'm going to sell it as an NFT on Shingo's new particle platform. Or maybe, I don't know if he'll have me.
I want a piece of that.
I got Sundial. at 420 in February, by the way. I sold it for $4.20 pre-market. February 10th. I'll never forget that day. It's magical.
Iconic.
Yeah. All right. I know it's getting late, guys. I'll shut the hell up. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, we can listen to you all night, my friend.
Thanks, Oaken Shield.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah. Thanks, Pepe.
Kronos, when you popped up before, you said you had 2 questions. Did we get to both of them?
Yeah. Yep. We all got it taken care of. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, I was about to follow up on that as well. I felt bad, but we're kind of coming up on the 2-hour mark. If anybody doesn't have any last minute questions, we'll wrap it up. Once again, we appreciate everybody as always. Follow the VGX Hero Twitter page. Check out Crypto Airborne's YouTube channel for this AMA. If you missed any parts of it, want to rewatch it, we'll get that timestamp. So if you want to listen to one specific part, once again, we're here every Wednesday. We love doing this for everybody. We love asking or answering questions. We love sharing our knowledge. There's no point to have knowledge and not share it. What's good does that do? And crypto, it's a wild west out there oftentimes. So we want to lead people in the right direction, and we want to help people be able to make informed decisions on their own without just relying on their favorite influencer on different means. So feel free anytime we're up here, ask any question. It can be the most sophisticated question, it can be the most entry-level question. We'll answer it all happily. Never complain. Always happy to hear from everybody. So yeah, if anybody got some final remarks, we'll close it out. We can start with you, Floki.
I'm just going to say it. Strength and honor, everybody. Today was a great day, and I am so looking forward for more.
Frankie, got something for us, my friend?
Just enjoy the ride, and see everyone on the other side.
And one request before we get to everybody else. Everybody, whoever you want to hear from, tell them we host these AMA Twitter Spaces every Wednesday. Tell them to join. Tell them to DM me, Michael, Floki, Aragorn, the Twitter page. We would love to have any new speaker on, anybody you want to hear from. We want any and everybody. So recruit for us. We try to do it ourselves. We got some exciting people coming down the line, but help us recruit. We want people up here for y'all. We want whoever y'all want to listen to speak about whatever they have in crypto. We want to hear from them. So help us out with that.
I'll say one more thing. Equalizer. You've been on for a while. I've noticed you. I think you also have a Seeking Alpha account. So just good knowing that you're there. Always been a consistent contributor to this community. So just wanted to give you a shout out, man.
He just popped up.
Conveniently enough, he just popped up.
Well, while we're waiting for him, Wonder Woman Felix, while y'all are up here, y'all can say, and Kronos Suri as well, if y'all have anything while you're up here.
Well, I like to give a quick shout out to Crypto Airborne. Airborne, you do a really nice job whenever Steve comes on recording newscasts and sort of thing to keep us all informed. So thank you very much for the attention to detail that you put forth. Thanks, man.
All I will say is it's a good day to drink some bourbon. Have a good night, everyone.
Hell yes.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pat Ackerman, for the round drinking tonight.
Not too much besides what's already been said, but the sentiment of like there can be a positive feedback loop or a negative feedback loop often with sentiment, and it's so nice to see the change from summer when it was pretty much that negative feedback loop and now to being a positive one. So really glad to be here for it.
Go ahead, Floki.
Yeah, I want to back that up. I wanted to add one more thing. You know, there's 550 or so of us now. If I had to choose one for you guys to turn your notifications on and follow to the T, this guy embodies everything that it means to be a VGX hero. And that is 100%, without a doubt, Crypto Daddy Pig. I have my notifications turned on for this guy. I am not missing a beat ever again. He deserves all of our love because he loves us so damn much. And Crypto Daddy Pig, I love you, man. I want to get a CDP chant going here to close the night. CDP. CDP.
CDP.
CDP.
That's all I got. Michael, you can go ahead and do yours.
No, we're good. I think we had a good week. Hopefully, it's the first of many more to come. And you know, we touched on bringing additional speakers onto the panel. Also, if anybody's got any additional topics that they want to explore deeper, please shoot us a note. We're open to suggestions. So we throw this agenda together based on what we think can help supplement in between when people actually ask questions. But if there's some topics that people are looking to explore a little bit deeper, please don't hesitate. Shoot them our way.
Absolutely. And Sunzi, you can wrap us up, my friend.
Yeah, just one last question. Crypto Cartel, can I pet your dogs? Give me 100 for yes or fist for no.
He's waiting. That's not the answer. You gotta get the answer. We're waiting. There it is. There it is. Hey, let's go.
All right. That's what I'm looking for.
We're closing on that. GNs all around. GNs. We'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all so much for spending y'all's night with us. We greatly appreciate it.